Can you tell I'm a 21 Pilots fan? Hey music nerds, my name is Chaz Hayden, and I'm an award-winning author that reacts to music from a literary perspective. What this means is we're going to figure out whether your high school English teacher would have liked this song or not. And the way we do that is we're going to grade the song in 3 categories: creativity, structure, and storytelling. And today we have my favorite band of all time, 21 Pilots, just released a new song off the upcoming album, Breach. The song is The Contract. Now, there's a ton of lore that 21 Pilots have, whether it's Dima, the Bishops, Clancy. I'm not going to talk about that today. I want to talk about the song as if you're just a casual music lover and you want to listen to some good music and what is my interpretation of the lyrics without knowing anything about Dima or Clancy or any of the 21 Pilots lore. Let's listen.
Hello, Clancy.
Glowing eyes. There are glowing eyes in the music video, and I know I don't usually ever talk about what's in the music video, but I want to point this out because I think it also relates to the rest of the lyrics in the song. If you don't know, Glowing Eyes is a very old 21 Pilots song from the album Regional at Best, which came out before they even had a record label. I think there's going to be more references to Glowing Eyes and what that song talks about in the rest of the contract, but I'm just really excited to see them, so let's keep listening.
I check the doors, check the windows, and pull the blinds. I check the clock, wondering what he'll pull this time. I have a feeling that necromancer's outside, and I'm just trying to stay quiet. I don't sleep much, that's crazy, how'd you know that?
I checked the doors, checked the windows, and I closed the blinds. This is a reference to the song Not Today off of Blurryface. Pull the curtains down, windows open, now make a sound. Now we have a reference back to that song. I checked the windows, I checked the blinds, and I know he's right outside. We're dropped into a world of hypervigilance, of paranoia, that there's something or someone watching you. And this is a feeling that we all feel when we're stressed or anxious, but even more so when we're dealing with a mental health condition. And Tyler does a really good job of personifying that with an actual character that's lurking in the background.
That's maybe how you know that. Ooh, promises and contracts. I used to keep. I don't sleep much, that's crazy. How'd you know that? Keep myself up, that's maybe how you know that. Ooh, my hallucination. I used to sleep. Wake up and I found out that I change up.
I don't say much, how'd you know that? I keep myself up, how'd you know that? When you have anxiety or sleep deprivation, you stay up and you talk to yourself. Therefore, you're talking to all of your anxieties, all the things that you feel are bad, all the voices inside of your head. Tyler's like wondering, how do you know that I can't sleep? How do you know that I'm awake? The trauma or this person looking outside the door knows because Tyler's talking to them. When you're awake, you're in the middle of the night when you're awake. All of those things that you're afraid of feel very real, and they feel like they're inside the room or surrounding you. And the person knows, or in the demon lore, it's Nico or one of the bishops. In the real world, it's our intrusive thoughts that we're constantly communicating with and keep us up because they know what scares us. So if we continue to personify them, personify our anxieties and our intrusive thoughts, therefore they're going to keep hounding in on what scares us the most, which is staying awake at night. And the promises in the contracts, maybe Tyler or us have promises to getting better. He's saying, I used to keep these promises, I'm trying not to, and I had these hallucinations of a better future, hallucinations of getting out of the room I'm in. In the lore, I think the hallucinations are referring to Clancy's one-time belief of what the bishops or what Dima were preaching to him. But now it's the hallucinations of these anxieties and intrusive thoughts.
Hey, did it change up? Is it light out yet? Better find out where. Better walk around the edge of the room in the bed with my arm on face. Face around, better try to breathe. Face around, face around. I check the doors, check the windows and
Did it switch up? Did I switch up? I think this is him saying when the morning comes, it's light outside, he can go outside, but he almost has to convince himself with the line like, I should go outside, bet. He has to bet. He has to like entice himself to actually get outside the room, even though he knows it's morning. Maybe the necromancer, the person awakening the dead, is not outside the room anymore, but he can't. He just continually paces around the room. He can't convince himself. All of us have felt this way. We can't convince ourselves to leave this place of solitary, to leave this place of safety. We have to almost like bet on ourselves to do it. And then there's a reference back to routines in the night. I'm just going to continually pace around this layout that I know.
I check the clock, wondering what he'll pull this time. I have a feeling that necromancer's outside, and I'm just trying to stay quiet. I don't sleep much, that's crazy. How'd you know that? I keep myself up, that's maybe how you know that. Ooh, promises and contracts. I used to keep. I don't sleep much, that's crazy. How'd you know that? Maybe how you know that.
Jeez, they do such, Tyler and Josh, they do such a good job of keeping it intense, and then they pull it back just a little bit. It's the same rhythm, the same melody, and then Josh's drums come right back in, right back at that anxiety, right back in at the spiraling in your brain, and we're right back into the intensity of it all. But then they pull you back out just to give you just that ounce of relief from the struggle, and then bam, back into the intensity. Amazing structure.
I used to sing. I check the clock, wondering what he'll pull this time.
Yeah, like I said, he has to bet on himself of going outside. He wants to get out there, but he doesn't try because there's no incentive for him to do so. He's safe in that room.
I have a feeling that necromancer's outside, and I'm just trying to stay quiet. How'd you know that? I'll keep myself up, that's maybe how you know that. Ooh, promises and contracts I used to keep. I don't sleep much, that's crazy. How'd you know that? I'll keep myself up, that's maybe.
That drop is going to go so hard at the concerts. I just said that, ooh, promises. So then, bam! Can't wait for the tour.
How you know that? Ooh, I used to see, it felt so real, but now I plead, just take the deal. I promised you a contract. I promised you a contract.
Okay, incredible song once again. Tyler, Twenty Pilots, Josh Dun, they never miss. At the end, I like that there's not really a resolution, but there's a call or there's a plea for a resolution. He's saying, I promise you a contract. I should have just taken the deal. The deal to, I know in the lore it's referring to the deal that the bishops of Rico are trying to get Clan to. We'll find out, whatever that is, I'm sure, on the album. But in life, I think this to refer to the deal that we take with our anxieties and with our intrusive thoughts and with all the things that plague us. We just want to feel comfortable. We're begging them to stop. We're begging for a resolution. We're begging for all the voices in our head to be quiet. We're trying to stay quiet. We're trying to stay silent so they can't find us. But they continue to find us, and we're trying to find a resolution. But this song is absolutely incredible. I mean, let's just jump right into the grade because I have a lot to say about it. Alright, creativity, I give it an A. What Tyler does really well in songwriting is personifying the things that we feel the most and making them relatable to people who haven't been following the band for a decade now. I want to go back to the beginning when we talked about glowing eyes. In the song Glowing Eyes, he says, I know there's someone at the door. They call for help of this, I'm sure. But do I want to say goodbye to all the glowing eyes? I'm holding on to what I know. And what I know, I must let go. But I'd rather play a song for the eyes to sing along. This music video personifies that chorus of glowing eyes. Tyler doesn't want to leave the room because he doesn't want to leave all the other glowing eyes behind. He doesn't know what's going to happen when he opens up the door. Necromancer, the person who rises people from the dead, he's going to get Tyler now. I know all the glowing eyes are also supposed to be a metaphor for the glorious dawns, the people that have unfortunately succumbed to the bishops or to their anxieties. But in Glowing Eyes and in this music video, Tyler is doing that. He's playing a song for them to sing along so he doesn't have to move on. In the song Glowing Eyes, he's saying, I'm holding on to what I know so that I don't let go. He's holding on to what he knows of staying in the room, allowing his insecurities to take over him. He's staying silent. He wants to be with the things that he knows and feels familiar with. The creativity of referencing a song, and they do this all the time to Pies, and that's what I think the fans love the most about them, is that they continually draw inspiration and references from music that is well in the past, over a decade old, and they bring us back to that time, and they don't forget about those older songs, and they bring it back in unique and different ways. I just think that Tyler, as a songwriter, is able to fit so much relatable information. No one else is talking about mental health in the way that 21 Pilots talks about mental health. There are musicians and bands that try to, but sometimes it's so on the nose. But this, imagine being in a mosh pit at a concert and just totally jamming out to this. But then you can also listen to the song and think about it from a philosophical perspective, and I think that's what the song does really well. Structure, I give it an A-, almost an A. The song is worked around repetition and a cyclical nature. In any other song, I'd probably give it a lower grade, but this is intentional, sort of symbolizing the cyclical nature of dealing with a mental health issue. But what I really love about the structure is the tension and the release that he gives. A lot of bands in a song like this, especially Linkin Park or NF or someone like that, would continue the pounding of the drum, of the beat, and you wouldn't get that release, and you would feel it, and that's fine, that might be intentional too, but Tyler gives you that respite. He pulls it away, the promises and contracts, or even the B verse at the end, I'm trying to get out of here. He slows it down, he gives you a little bit of a rest, and then Josh comes back in with the drums. The structure is intentional to mimic how we feel when we're having a breakdown, when our anxiety is at the most, when we're feeling the trauma of our past. Another thing I love about the structure is in the vocals, the way the vocals are mixed into the song. Usually the voice is really at the top, it's crisp. In this, it's so distorted and buried way down into the mix of the song. In the verse, when he's talking about the switch up and the change up and walking around his bed, the vocals are so buried, we almost can't even hear them. They're so distorted, we almost can't even understand what he's saying, and that's intentional. It's supposed to feel like we can't even hear ourselves. We can't hear ourselves talking to ourselves, if that makes any sense. Even though we're alone in this room, we're surrounded by all the other noise that's distracting us. And Tyler is that voice in the head, the voice that's trying to explain what's happening, but we can't hear it. It's so far in the distance, it's being drowned out by everything else. Which leads me into storytelling. Storytelling gets an A+. When you combine the creativity of drawing references from older songs, and I'm not even talking about storytelling of the lore of Demon, Clancy, and the Bishops, because if we're going to talk about that, then we give it a million bonus extra credit points. Right? I mean, this is the third or fourth album now. Well, Trench, Scaled and Icy, Clancy, and now we're going to Breach. So 4 albums, even going back to Blurry Face. I mean, every single one of 21 Pilots albums has a reference to the universe that Tyler has built and brought us in on. But for this particular song, if we're just gonna listen to it in a playlist or on the radio, the storytelling and his ability to mix intense synths and vocal distortion, and his ability to personify anxieties and the paranoia of being alone in your room brings the storytelling all the way up to the top. And what does it even better is that there is not a resolution. There can't be. I know on every one of my videos I'm always mad that the songs don't have a resolution, but this one shouldn't have a resolution because there isn't a clear-cut way to deal with how we're feeling, to deal with these mental health issues. There is no resolution because we haven't found one yet, or Tyler hasn't found one yet, or maybe there is no right way to deal with it for everyone else, and that's what brings the storytelling all the way up to an A+. But the most important question, would your high school English teacher like this song? And the answer is, she'd be afraid. She'd be a little bit afraid. She'd probably ask you to stay after class, and then she'd want to know if she can accompany you to a guidance counselor, or maybe call your parents in, and you're like, you're the one who told us to write a poem, and she was like, yeah, but I didn't think that you would, bear it out like I'm your goddamn therapist. She's like, I'm saying, I can relate to it. I understand what you're going through, sweetie, but I don't know if this is the time or place, and you're like, it's always the time and place. Anyways, if you're interested in what I write, please check out The First Thing About You and Diet Soda Club. They are available anywhere books are sold. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It means the world to me, and it lets me know that you want more. And please leave a comment down below what you thought about the contract and what song I should react to next. You can follow me on Instagram at @TheChazHayden. That's where I post pictures of my handsome face. In the meantime, be different, leave a trail. I see you.
I don't sleep much, that's crazy. How'd you know that?